10 creepy details you probably forgot about Stephen King's It. Stephen King's It has never truly loosened its grip on pop culture. With it, welcome to Derry breathing fresh life into the franchise. Fans are once again revisiting the unsettling lore surrounding Pennywise, the town of Derry, and the unlucky children who crossed its path. And in doing so, many are remembering something important. It isn't just frightening because of its killer clown. It's frightening because of the tiny, haunting details, the eerie world building, and the subtle horrors that linger far longer than a jump scare. Some of these details were toned down or cut entirely from the movies. Some were too strange, too grim, or too uncomfortable, but together, they form the full picture of why it remains one of the most unnerving stories Stephen King has ever written. Let's revisit 10 creepy details you probably forgot about it. Details that make Derry, Pennywise, and the Loser story even darker than you remember. 1. The deadlights and Pennywise's terrifying godlike nature. Most fans know Pennywise as the dancing clown who feeds on fear, but the creature's truest form is something far beyond horror film logic. The deadlights, those swirling, indescribable energies, are just a tiny window into what Pennywise actually is. Anyone who looks directly into them loses their sanity, and the movies only barely hint at this cosmic truth. In King's lore, Pennywise isn't a ghost, a demon, or even just a monster. It is a divine cosmic being, second only to Matron the Turtle, another cosmic entity within King's universe. Pennywise's clown form is merely a puppet, a psychological trick designed to lure prey. The real creature exists outside human comprehension, which makes every encounter with it less like facing a villain and more like brushing against a Lovecraftian god. The terrifying implication? What the losers see is only the tiniest fraction of what it truly is. 2. Beverly Marsh and the horrific reality of her home life. The supernatural horrors of Derry get the spotlight, but one of the most disturbing parts of it has nothing to do with ancient cosmic entities. Beverly Marsh's father, Alvin Marsh, represents the horrors that exist in the real world. The book and the 1990 miniseries make it painfully clear that Beverly lives in constant fear of him, a fear grounded not in fantasy, but in all too familiar family violence. His controlling behavior carries a sinister undertone that becomes difficult to ignore. His lingering looks, his obsessive questioning, and his gaslighting blend into a portrait of real-world abuse that hits closer to home than any clown in a sewer ever could. The 2017 adaptation captures that claustrophobic dread perfectly, highlighting that Beverly's world is dangerous even without Pennywise. 3. The infamous sewer scene the movies left out. If there's one moment from the novel that fans are glad never reached the screen, it's the controversial sewer scene after the losers defeated his children. King wrote a sequence in which Beverly has sex with each of the boys, individually, as a symbolic gesture meant to unify the group and help them restore their connection. Symbolic or not, the scene remains one of the most polarizing pieces of King's writing. Movie adaptations unanimously avoided depicting it, and Welcome to Derry will almost certainly do the same. Still, it stands as one of the novel's darkest and most unsettling moments, not because of gore or monsters, but because of its uncomfortable attempt at metaphor using child characters.
Braved you. Oh, I missed you.
For Pennywise's spider form actually laid eggs. The later films showed a hybrid clown spider creature, but the book goes further, disturbingly further. In the novel, after the losers descend into its lair, they discover something horrifying: eggs. Pennywise, or the creature behind Pennywise, isn't just a predator. It is also reproductive. Stephen King never leans too deeply into the biological details, but the implication is chilling. Pennywise's species might be capable of spreading, growing, multiplying. One that was able to terrorize Derry for centuries. The idea of dozens more lurking in the dark is the kind of nightmare that sticks with readers long after they close the book. 5. Patrick Hockstetter, the human monster everyone forgets. Overshadowed by bullies like Henry Bowers, Patrick Hockstetter remains one of the creepiest human characters in the entire story and one of the easiest to forget. His cruelty starts disturbingly young. At just 5 years old, he killed his baby brother simply because he didn't want to share attention. From there, Patrick evolves into a textbook-budding serial killer, torturing animals and storing corpses inside an abandoned refrigerator. Even Pennywise, a cosmic predator, seems to sense the rot inside him and eventually uses that very rot against him. Patrick's death in both the novel and the adaptation serves as poetic justice, but the disturbing truth remains: he didn't need supernatural influence to be monstrous. 6. Pennywise's horrifying range of forms. Pennywise's clown appearance is iconic, but it's far from the only shape it wears. King's novel, along with both the miniseries and the modern films, showcases a staggering range of transformations. Pennywise becomes whatever its victim fears most: zombies, werewolves, leprous, disease-ridden figures, dismembered corpses, demonic versions of beloved people. The creature's mastery of illusion is deeply personal, turning a victim's inner fears into reality. What makes these forms particularly creepy is that they're tailor-made. Pennywise doesn't just scare people, it studies them, easing them into the perfect emotional flavor before feeding. Fear to it is a seasoning, and humans are the dish. 7. Georgie's death was far more brutal in the novel. The 2017 film's opening scene with Georgie remains one of the most shocking in modern horror. But the book's version of that moment is quieter and far more disturbing. Instead of pulling Georgie into the sewer, Pennywise simply leaves him on the street to bleed out after ripping his arm off. King describes Georgie's desperate screams, his agony, and the rain mixing with his blood as he slowly goes still. No sewer abduction, no sudden disappearance. Just death in the open in the middle of a neighborhood. It's not only frightening but also thematically important. The adults of Derry remain oblivious even as a child dies on their street. Help! 8. Derry's adults can't perceive it or refuse to. One of the most chilling elements of it is the idea that adults simply can't or won't see what's happening right in front of them. Children die, disasters strike, and the town moves on with eerie calm. This apathy feels supernatural, like Pennywise's influence is dulling their senses and erasing their willingness to help. But on a deeper level, King uses this trope to mirror real life. Many children experience trauma or bullying that adults fail to acknowledge. Derry becomes a symbolic reflection of willful ignorance, and that might be more disturbing than any clown in a sewer. 9. The Ritual of Chüd, a mystical battle no one fully understands. Even longtime fans sometimes forget just how strange the Ritual of Chüd truly is. In the novel, King describes it as a mythical, spiritual confrontation involving consciousness, imagination, and willpower, guided by Matron, a giant cosmic turtle who opposes Pennywise. The movies simplify the ritual and tie it to Native American traditions, but even then, the mechanics remain cryptic. Is it literal? Metaphorical? Somewhere in between? The ambiguity adds a dreamlike eeriness, reminding readers that not everything in King's universe follows rules that humans can understand.
The people we all hold on to.
10. The town of Derry itself is complicit in the horror. One of King's greatest achievements in it is turning the town of Derry into a character, and not a friendly one. Derry isn't merely a backdrop where Pennywise happens to live. It is a place shaped by centuries of violence, corruption, and silence. Murders go ignored. Disasters are brushed aside. People look away, always at the worst moment. In it, Welcome to Derry, this theme becomes even clearer. The town is rotten not because of Pennywise, but alongside Pennywise. The implication is chilling. Maybe Pennywise didn't corrupt Derry. Maybe it chose Derry because it was already broken.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Closing thoughts. Stephen King's It is remembered for its iconic villain and unforgettable imagery, but it's the story's overlooked details that make it truly unsettling. From cosmic horrors and human monsters to symbolic rituals and a town steeped in denial, it thrives in the gray space between supernatural terror and psychological dread. Whether you're revisiting the films, diving back into the novel, or watching Welcome to Derry, remembering these hidden layers makes the story even richer and far more disturbing. Because in Derry, the scariest things aren't always the ones lurking in the sewer. Sometimes, they're the ones hiding in plain sight.